Tonight's show is sponsored by Mando. Telling you, everyone, they got some good stuff. We'll go take a look over at what products they got a little bit later. I'm telling you, Father's Day just around the corner. They got some good smelling stuff. If you want to help out Dad, maybe smell a little bit better, go check out Mando. Link is in the description down below. You get a $5 off on the Mando starter pack. Not a bad deal. They got some great smelling stuff, everyone. Go check it out. But everyone, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Let's get to the power rankings. I feel like I've been rambling on and on and on here. Here we go. You all know the drill. Start at 30. Go to number 1. Let me make sure I have all the teams hidden. Okay, I have all the teams hidden. Here we go. Starting at number 30. I got my notes ready. Here we go. At number 30, we got the White Sox. I don't know. I will say this. For the Chicago White Sox, sure, Tommy Pham had that incident today, had the collision with William Contreras, saying after the game, let me make sure I read the quote correctly. I'm prepared to F somebody up. I'm not gonna say the bad word that he said, because this is a family-friendly show, and I will not use that kind of language on this channel. But Tommy Pham, he's I feel like he, over the last few years, I feel like he's been one of the more underrated lightning rods. Like, anytime something comes up with him, I feel like people are pretty divided on how they feel about him, and it was the same thing after that one today. The only thing I noticed about that whole play with Tommy Pham was the guy was almost on the mound. Like, what the heck happened with Tommy Pham? Like, how did he end up in the grass running home? Like, not just in like the grass a little bit, but like he was almost to the mound. What the heck happened? I don't know. But Tommy Pham, he's been pretty solid so far this year. I expect him to get moved at the deadline. We'll see. But Tommy Pham always has something going on. Wasn't there something with fantasy football a couple of years ago or something? I guess there's a lot of stuff that happens with Pham. But for the White Sox themselves, they're playing terrible. What have they lost? Like 62 straight games at this point? I think it's 11. Swept by both Toronto and Milwaukee this week. I'll be honest with you, everyone. Draft content is going to be picking up here on the channel. We're in June now, and this is the month where College World Series starts to pick up. You start to see a lot of these college players that are going to be entering the draft. Guys like, my goodness, Jack Caglione, Chase Burns, Nick Kurtz, a lot of big names, This is the time. So draft content will be picking up. I'm going to try and start doing mock drafts for every Monday. I guess I can call it Mock Draft Monday. That sounds fun, I guess. But for the White Sox, I'm kind of wondering where they're going to go with their draft pick. Number 5 overall, it's going to be an interesting pick for them because they won't be eligible for a first-round pick or a lottery pick next year. Because I think the reason is because they are not considered a small market team. So I guess you cannot have back-to-back picks each year if you're like a larger market team. So with the 5th pick, do they take advantage, go with upside with a high school player, maybe someone like Connor Griffin, or do they take like a more for sure bet in like a college player, Guys like Nick Kurtz, Brady Montgomery, maybe Hagen Smith. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see which way the White Sox go. I'm leaning high school right now because the White Sox just seem so far away from doing anything relevant. So maybe they go with the upside in a high school pick. We'll see. But other than that, not much going on for the White Sox. At number 29, the Angels stink. I have 2 notes on the Angels. They pretty much just did terrible this week. Offense was dead last in the last 7 games. There's not really much going on with the Angels, man. There's just nothing really to talk about here. So, I don't know. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with the Angels. I talked a lot about the White Sox. Sorry, Angels fans. Number 28, we got the Marlins. The Marlins kind of came back down to earth this week. They were winning some series. They were being kind of interesting, but losing both their series this past week, 2 out of 3 to the Padres and the Rangers. We got some trade pieces, possible trade pieces doing well. Jesus Sanchez, maybe that could be a power bat for some teams to look at. He's starting to heat up here. Jesus Luzardo had a decent start against the Padres, 7 innings, 3 runs. Ryan Weathers had a bumpy start against the Rangers, but he struck out 11. Braxton Garrett had a decent start against the Padres, 5 innings, 1 earned. But overall, that's really it for the Marlins. I'm kind of just paying attention to how the possible trade pieces are doing, especially Jesus Luzardo. At number 27, we got the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies, they're one of those interesting teams this year where they're kind of like a thorn in your side, right? They won 2 out of 3 against Cleveland this week, who have been red hot. What is up with these teams that get red hot and then they just lose a series to one of the worst teams in the league? I feel like that's happened so many times this year. I don't know. But then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, sorry. Blackmon, Tovar, Rogers, they've been hitting well, but not much else. Chris Bryant came back recently, but that guy, man, I don't know. I feel bad because I want Chris Bryant to do well, but unfortunately that is turning into one of the worst contracts in the history of the game. Speaking of the draft, that's a team to pay attention to for the draft coming up. They got the 3rd pick overall. I think it's really interesting with that pick. I wonder what the Rockies do. Listen here, everyone. I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to kind of put this out there. I don't think the Rockies are very far away. But they got some decent guys in that farm system. They got some decent core players. They're not there yet, but they got some pieces that I think can kind of build into this next core. And then they get this 3rd pick. Chase Burns, if he's on the board, which I would imagine, unless maybe the Guardians go with an underslot and they take Chase Burns number 1, right? A lot of people thinking either Bazana or Charlie Condon for the number 1 pick, but maybe they want to go try and get a deal maybe for someone like Burns, who could be a future ace of their staff. Maybe they can, if the Guardians don't do that, then I would expect Chase Burns to be on the board. So I think he could be a decent pick for the Rockies. And of course, when you think Colorado, you think of, big bats, Nick Kurtz, Braden Montgomery, Jack Caglione. I'm interested to see what the Rockies do with their 3rd pick. So start gearing up for that, everyone. At number 26, we got the Oakland A's. Not really much on the Oakland A's this week. We've seen them over the last couple of weeks come crashing down to earth after an interesting start for them. We had a bit of a comedic moment with the Oakland A's this week. Jenny Cavnar, one of the announcers for the Oakland A's. That's also been kind of a lightning rod of a conversation. I feel like I've seen a lot of hate towards the commentary when it comes to Jenny Cavnar, and I understand, some of the calls have not been great. I don't know, but those are only from what I've heard for the most part. I don't know. It doesn't seem like she's getting great feedback. I don't know. That's not my opinion. I'm just hearing what other people are saying. But there was one interesting quote from her this past week. Mason Miller was on the mound in the 9th in Tampa. Jose Siri, who had homered already in the game, came up and she said, "Siri, it's not your night." Because, oh my goodness, I'm so stupid. I should not have done that. Because I literally just activated Siri on my iPad. That was awful. And then he ended up homering off of Mason Miller moments later. That was hilarious. That was pretty bad. I'm just saying. I don't know. But that's all I have for the Oakland A's, honestly. Here we go. Number 25. Let's go to Tampa. Winning 2 out of 3 against Oakland, losing 2 out of 3 to the Orioles this weekend. It's not really much with the Rays right now. They've just been a weird team so far this year. They're getting some decent offensive production from Isaac Paredes, Brandon Lau. Like I said, Siri, he's been hitting well. I'm honestly starting to gear up for maybe what the Rays could do at the deadline. Let's be real. The Rays are always thinking ahead. And even if maybe they start winning some games, I mean, do the Rays hang on to their guys, right? Like Randy Rosarena, do they still try to deal him? If there's a deal that comes up, even if maybe they're hanging around the playoff picture, I could see the Rays still making moves. So we'll see. But, Tampa, I'm starting to gear up for maybe some possible trade pieces. We're in June, everyone. The calendar has flipped. This is when you start to see conversation on trades heating up. So actually, no, I'm not there yet. In a couple of teams, we'll be talking about some more trade pieces. At number 24, I got the Pirates. Honestly, I might actually make an audible here. I might make an audible really quick. Do I make an audible here? Yeah, I'm going to make an audible. I don't know why I did. Nope, I did not mean to do this. I actually meant to put the Pirates at number 23. Hold on a second. Apologies, everyone. I was about to say, that didn't look right. At number 24. Okay, so back to what I was just saying. Speaking of trade candidates, where is it? How about the Mets? What the heck is I'm just saying, what the heck has happened with this Mets team? Like, they were kind of okay for a little bit, but it's not just the Mets when they're bad, it's not that they're just bad, but when they're bad, it's comically bad. It's so bad. It's awful. You got swept by the Dodgers this week. And then, you start off your series okay with the Diamondbacks, right? You're okay, all right, they're getting some feel-good wins here. And then you blow it today. Again, the bullpen implodes. It wasn't even Edwin Diaz this time. Ketel Marte, a heck of a game for him today. The Mets, it's just so bad. I don't know what else to say. Sure, Francisco Lindor, he's starting to heat up here. JD Martinez, he's heating up as well. Sure, Trevor McGill, he had an okay start against the Dodgers, 7 innings, 9 Ks, but that's it. Robo Buck, I see you in the chat. Yeah, they retired Darryl Strawberry's number. But that's it. Really, the big focus on the Mets right now is what are they going to do at the deadline? All right, I just made a video a couple of days ago talking about a fire sale for the Mets, what could be some pieces. I could have even included a couple more names in the video that I did. I mainly mentioned Pete Alonso, JD Martinez, Luis Severino, Harrison Bader, Jose Quintana I mentioned. But Bob Nightingale, he put out something today, something that he heard that the Mets, he is reporting that they will be shopping these names: Pete Alonso, JD Martinez, Luis Severino, Jeff McNeil, Harrison Bader, Sean Manaea, Jose Quintana, and relievers Adam Ottavino, Jake Dykman, and Reed Garrett. If I'm the Mets, I'm gearing up for it already. If I'm Steve Cohen, I am already on my yacht sailing off to the Caribbean somewhere, and I've just said, all right, David Stearns, do what you got to do. Get rid of everything. Do what you got to do. Don't even call me. I'm off to the Caribbean. I'm going to sip on this little martini while I'm on my $8 billion yacht. I think they need to sell off all these pieces. Pete Alonso. Yeah, no. If you've already discussed an extension and you couldn't get something worked out, see you later, Pete Alonso. I think Seattle would be a good spot for him. Sure, there's some other spots out there. Maybe the Royals. I think that could be fun. Jim of Ballcat mentioned that when we did our podcast the other day. Which, hey, podcast everyone, Barreled Up Podcast. Go download that podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Spotify, wherever, go download it. You know you want to. JD Martinez, absolutely move that guy. I mean, there's teams always looking for a bat. Bader, yeah, move Bader. I'm sure there's teams out there that would like to shore up center field. Definitely starting pitching. Jose Quintana, sure, Quintana's had a couple of rough starts this year, but for the most part, Quintana's going to be a decent 4 in your rotation. Manaea, he's on a 2-year deal, but whatever. If you can get something for him, do it. Bullpen pieces, sure, Garrett, he's been a good story this year, but whatever. If you can get a good piece for him, see you later, buddy. The Mets, they need to get all the pieces they can. This core is not doing anything. Francisco Lindor, I don't expect him to get moved. There's no way that contract gets moved. Eben Diaz, he's not going anywhere. So, yeah, the Mets, it's time to sell off some of these pieces. So now at number 23, let me make the change here. So I had the Pirates at 24, but nope, I realized I made a mistake. And the Pirates are at number 23. So talking about the Pirates, kind of a whatever week, splitting with Detroit, losing 2 out of 3 to Toronto this weekend. We'll talk about Toronto here in just a little bit. But this offense stinks. They're 29th in offense in the last 7. They're 27th overall. Andrew McCutchen, he can't carry this lineup. We've got to get these bats going. Connor Joe, sure, having a good year, but they need, come on. What's Brian Reynolds doing? What the heck happened to Brian Reynolds? This is a guy that had a great year, not too long ago, and I feel like he's fine, but he's not like what he was a couple of years ago. They're getting pretty good pitching though. The Paul Skeens show continued to roll this week against Detroit. 6 innings, 9 Ks. Keller looked great against the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, Jarrett Jones, he got roughed up against Detroit. 5 earned in 4 1/3. But for the Pirates, as of right now, just checking on the standings, the Pirates as of right now, they're still hanging around. Right, they're 2 back in the wild card. So, the Pirates are not a team I expect really to, sell off. If they fall really far back, maybe Connor Joe, someone like that. We'll see. But that's it for the Pirates. At number 22, speaking of a seller. Speaking of sellers, ladies and gentlemen, and I do see some super chats. I will catch those after I get done with this tier. I have not forgotten. Number 22, we got the Astros. Rough week for Houston. Thought maybe we're starting to pick up some steam here with the Astros. No, not really. Losing 3 out of 4, or losing both their series to the Mariners and the Twins. Losing 3 out of 4 to the Mariners and losing their series to the Twins this past weekend. The offense, this was their strength of the team all year, but they have not really been doing all that much. 27th in offense in the last 7 games. In the Seattle series, we all know they got good pitching. That's going to be a tough series for anyone out there, but they were held to 9 runs in the 4 games. They scored 9 runs in the 3 games against the Twins. Bregman, Alvarez, these are the only guys really hitting at this point. Bregman's hot, though. He's hitting .357 with an .893 slugging, 4 home runs over his last 7 games. Yordan Alvarez hitting .385 with an OPS over 1,000 with a couple of homers in his last 7 games. So, you got those guys hitting. Yeah, but Bregman, see you later, Alex Bregman. That guy's got to get moved. Absolutely. If the Astros are not, if they're not in it, there's no reason to hang on to them. And this is looking pretty bad for the Astros right now. They're 7.5 out in this division right now. They're 7.5 out in the wild card. I don't know, man. I think the Astros, they need to really bring back as many prospects as they can. Listen, here's the difference with the Astros, right, compared to maybe a team. What's a team I could use? I don't know. What's a team with a good farm that I could use as an example? Like the Diamondbacks, right? The Diamondbacks, the 27-32. The thing with the Diamondbacks, though, is they have a much deeper farm than Houston. So sure, Arizona, if they really wanted to, maybe they could sell off some pieces, but they're 2 out in the wild card. But for Arizona, they have a farm, and they have pieces down there that will eventually come up to help, right? But Houston, on the other hand, they're not just in a bad spot in the standings. They have no farm. They don't have a lot of pieces down there. Maybe a couple of pieces near the top that could be, of some use, but unless they really start developing and getting some of these guys really going, I don't know, man. Houston's farm's not looking very pretty. So the fact that you have a bad farm and you're 8 games under 500, I don't know, man. I think you really have to start thinking about selling. I think Houston, they're going to go as far as they can. They're going to see. At this point, though, especially with the way Bregman's hitting, and if he keeps this going, I expect him to get moved. And they definitely have some other pieces there. Verlander, could you move him too? I don't know. We'll see. He has a no trade clause, so he can definitely say no. But I don't know. They have been getting some good pitching, though. It's just the offense has not been bailing them out. Speaking of Verlander, he did great against the Mariners, 7 innings, 9 Ks. Hunter Brown, in my video that I posted tonight, talked about the most disappointing player for each team. For the Astros, I did mention, I picked Jose Abreu for that spot, but I did mention Hunter Brown because this is, one of the better pitching prospects over the last couple of years. Showed a lot of promise a couple of years ago or in the last couple of years, but this year it's not been great, but he had a decent start against the Twins this weekend, 6 innings, 3 earned, 7 Ks, so a quality start for him. Valdez, he picked up the win against the Twins. Eric Getty, he looked all right against the Mariners. 6 shutout. He actually looked pretty good against the Mariners. Six shutout, 8 Ks. So Houston, it's going to be interesting here. It's going to be interesting. And again, and I've mentioned this on this channel a lot, where when you're in a spot like the Astros are, there's one usually consistent thing. Your offense is great, but then you're getting bad pitching. And then maybe a couple of weeks go by. Then your pitching starts to do better, but then your offense slumps. And that's kind of what's happening with this Houston team right now is all 3 parts of their team are just not clicking with each other. So, I don't know. I just wonder if the Astros are going to be all right moving forward. Moving on, number 21, finishing up this tier, we got the Reds. The Reds, another team, they were wrecked by injuries. So, you got to give them that benefit of the doubt. But losing 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals, winning 2 out of 3 against the Cubs this past weekend, though. So, up and down week. Offense continues to be cold for the most part. India, Martini, Benson hitting well. But Ellie De La Cruz, Steer, cold, right? So up and down with the offense. Pitching is up and down as well. Lodolo, he picked up a win against the Cardinals. Montas had a quality start and he lost against the Cardinals. Hunter Green, 5 earned against the Cubs. Abbott, Ashcraft, for the most part. So the Reds, they're just not really firing on all cylinders right now. So, and I see you in the chat, RoboBuck, Noelvi Marte. Yeah, he's getting closer. So that should help. We'll see here. The Reds, another up and down team. Let me get to some super chats here. Let me get to some super chats. I saw those rolling in. Thank you so much for those, everyone. I always appreciate those. What do we got here? What do we got? Jimmy Productions. Who should the Nationals draft? I'm just saying here, one guy that I really love in this draft. Everyone's thinking about like Chase Burns, right? But I love Hagen Smith. I love Hagen Smith out of Arkansas. Guy's having a great year at Arkansas. I don't know. I almost like Hagen Smith a bit more than Chase Burns. That might be a bit of a hot take, but depending on what teams are doing, I don't know. I see Burns just because of the stuff that Burns has, like the big velocity, big curveball, big changeup, nasty slider as well. He's a bit more, I wouldn't say more of a complete picture, but he has more of that repertoire than Hagen Smith, where Hagen Smith, he has a great fastball slider, but other than that, there's not much. So that's where Hagen Smith is going to be, limited when it comes to Chase Burns. But the thing with Hagen Smith is he's just got that lefty, I don't know. There's something about lefty pitchers. I love me a good lefty, all right? Maybe I'm spoiled, having John Lester all those years, right? But Hagen Smith, when you just have 2 top-notch pitches that he has, and then he has a splitter as well, but I feel like Hagen Smith, if you develop him a little bit more, I think he could end up being a really dominant pitcher, and he has better control than Chase Burns. And one thing with Burns, I worry about the arm health long term. I watched a video on this a little while back, just talking about his mechanics. He has a bit more of like an overhand delivery where that could maybe lead to some stress on the arm. So where Hagen Smith, I feel like his delivery is a bit more fluid, a bit more repetitive, I would say. So I don't know. I think there is a possibility Hagen Smith could maybe fall to the Nationals. We'll see. But if he's available at number 10 for the Nats, oh yeah, I am totally picking Hagen Smith. If he gets there in that range, maybe like, Trey, I always botch it. Is it Trey Yasaveji? Trey Yasave? I'm so sorry. I always botch that one. But maybe he could be there out of East Carolina. Maybe they could take an offensive player like Seaver King or Cam Smith. Maybe one of the high school guys if they fall there, like Connor Griffin. Maybe Bryce Rayner. So we'll see. Maybe JJ Weatherholt. That's a guy where he's had some injuries in college. So I could maybe see him hanging around in that spot. But yeah, I'd say if Hagen Smith, if he falls to that spot, I think he'd be great for the Nats. That'd be awesome. Wonder Davy, $1.99. Three things are inevitable. Death, taxes, and LOL Mets. You got that right, Wonder Davy. Jimmy Productions, another super chat, $4.99. If you're the Nats, do you overpay for Walker Buehler, Max Fried, Shane Bieber, Jack Flaherty, or Lucas Giolito? I could see the Nats going out there and, maybe going after maybe someone like Max Fried, being in that division. I wonder if they go after him. Walker Buehler's an interesting one, too. I think Buehler, he just came back from Tommy John. I think he is going to be an interesting candidate on the market this offseason. I think the Nationals will go after someone. I feel like they're almost ready, right? And they've spent the big bucks before. We'll see. We'll see what they do. If everything's kind of cleared up with ownership and everything, I think they'll be okay and good to go. I do think that is something to think about for the Nationals, right? What's the deal with the ownership stuff going on there? We'll see. Walker Buehler for the Nationals, if he's healthy, what a great pickup that would be. I feel like they do need, sure, Mackenzie Gore having himself a good year, right? Irvin having a good year as well. Trevor Williams too. But I feel like they still just need like a top guy. And man, if they got someone like Buehler, that'd be pretty fun. All right, we're caught up with the super chats. Let's move on to the next tier. Here we go. At number 20, we got some trade talk. We got the Blue Jays, right? But the Blue Jays had a good week. Swept the White Sox, winning 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. They're 4.5 back in the wild card. Bats have been heating up. They're 7th in the last 7 games. George Springer, that was my pick for the most disappointing player on the Blue Jays so far this year. Definitely some other candidates on the Blue Jays, but I went with Springer. He's starting to heat up, though. Hitting .400 over his last 7 games. Vlad Jr. is starting to look like Vlad Jr. a little bit. And he played third base today for the first time since 2019. They wanted to try and get an extra bat in that lineup today, so they had Turner and Vogelbach in the lineup here today. And that paid off. Vogelbach had 2 hits, a couple RBIs, had a double as well. Maybe we start seeing that a little bit more. We'll see. Vlad just need that power to get going a little bit more. 345 on the slugging over the last 7 games. He's still hitting well for average. He's getting on base, but just want that power with Vlad. Where is it? Only has a 404 slugging on the year. Schneider, IKF have been hitting well. So, hey, this offense, they're doing well right now. Gosman, Bassett, good starts this week. Bassett looked great today. But the big story with the Blue Jays, is Ross Atkins here. He talked today, and he said Vlad on the Vlad Jr. and the Bo Bichette trade rumors. He says here, it just doesn't make any sense for us. Now, here is what I think about that. Now, when it comes to the Blue Jays, right? Obviously, they've had a very up and down start to the year, right? 4.5 back in the wild card right now. This is a team we all know that they have talent, right? They are a team that can win some games, but they just haven't been there so far this year. And when you think about Vlad and Bo, they're coming up on free agency after next season. So it could make sense to explore some, what is the interest out there for those guys? You had an executive, an unknown executive in the American League. He made comments saying, yeah, I think those guys could be up for grabs. That I'm saying that, I'm paraphrasing that, but he expected Vlad and Bo to be getting some interest. And Ross Atkins, he came out here today. He said, basically like, he was disappointed that someone said that. But he said, it just makes no sense to move them. Well, I think there's a lot of sense to moving them if you're really out of it. Let's say they fall to 7-8 games out, right? You're in mid-July and you're well out of it. Then yeah, there is a good argument to moving them. The reason Ross Atkins is saying this right now, and he knows this, right? But he also knows that the Blue Jays, they're not out of it by any means. So for right now, I think there is a little bit in what he's saying that I think is true, right? Because you could just wait until the offseason. If you have another down year and you miss the playoffs again, then yeah, maybe you could look into it in the offseason, right? You can evaluate a little bit more. The Blue Jays are a better team with Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette. No questions asked, right? But if you do fall out of it, then, and if a team offers you something good for, let's say, Bo Bichette, a team like the Dodgers who could use, if we want to put Mookie Betts out back in right field, Bo Bichette can be your guy at short. So if the Dodgers offer something that you can't pass up, then yeah, it makes sense to move him in that scenario. Vlad Jr. too. If a team's really looking for some thump, a first base or a DH, then yeah, it could make some sense to move Vlad if you get a good enough return, right? Right now, I kind of agree with him because the Blue Jays, they're not out of it by any means, but I think you need to evaluate things in another month or so. I think you need to see where you're at because the Blue Jays, they want to compete, right? They want to win. They want to sell tickets. They want people to come to the stadium. So we'll see. I'm not ready to call the Blue Jays sellers. Oh, I kind of was ready already. I even basically have said that. I think they need to sell. But I don't know. I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to be able to really make a run at a World Series. I don't know. And when you look at the farm, they've depleted it a lot. They got some pieces near the top, right? But, maybe you could use some more pieces in there, and then you can reevaluate things and you go for more of like a retool for next year. But again, I can see the argument for keeping Vlad and Bo. We'll see. But the Blue Jays, they are playing a little better as of late. Let's see what they look like in another month. But moving on. That was the wrong button. Here we go. On to number 19. We got the Nationals. Speaking of the Nationals, Jimmy Productions. Had an up and down, had a great series against the Braves. We'll talk about the Braves in just a little bit. Winning 3 out of 4 against the Braves. Oof, Braves fans did not like that. But then they lost 2 out of 3 to Cleveland, right? Good team over there in Cleveland, right? Lane Thomas starting to heat up for the Nats a little bit. Senzel, Gallo, they've been hitting well as too. Meneses, he's starting to contribute a bit. Abrams had a couple of home runs in the last 7 games, and they continue to get some solid pitching, right? Mackenzie Gore had a win against Atlanta. He struck out 10 in 5 1/3, only allowed 1 run. Jake Irvin, no decision against Atlanta, but he had 6 shutout innings, 10 Ks. So, the Nationals, if you really want to see a team that could use a bat, it's the Nationals here. I think Vlad would be great for that Nationals team. They could have him under control for next season. And, man, that'd be fun. If you got Vlad there, same organization that his father started with, that'd be pretty cool. But for the Nationals, kind of just an up and down week, but a great series win against the Braves. I think there's an argument that maybe the Nationals could be a little higher. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Mangjit, I'll get to that super chat in just a little bit. I'm just going to finish off with this tier. Thank you for that super chat, Mangjit. Cardinals at number 18. Did the Cardinals hang on for the win here tonight? The Cardinals hung on, and the Phillies lost their series. Wow. How about that? I saw the Phillies were leading earlier in that game, I believe. And now the Cardinals just took 2 out of 3. So I think we'll talk about the Phillies in just a little bit. But, man, how about the Cardinals lately, man? Cardinals. Ethan, where are you at in the chat? But, wow, Phillies losing both their series this week. Man, oh, man. No, we'll talk about the Phillies in just a little bit. But, where are my notes here? So the Cardinals winning both their series this week. 2 out of 3 against the Reds, 2 out of 3 against the Phillies, one of the best teams in the game. They're now tied. They're actually, well, let's see. With the win, where are they at here in the wild card standings? So, the Cardinals, as of right now, I mean, we're a long way away. But the Cardinals have the 3rd wild card. Wait, the Cardinals lost the series? Oh, wait. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong schedule. I'm looking at the Phillies schedule. Wait, hold on. So, my bad. I'm so sorry, everyone. I was on the Phillies schedule. I thought I was looking at the Cardinals schedule. Potato brain just kicked in. Never mind. Sorry about that. But did pick up the win tonight. Good win. Salvaged the series. They got the run there in the 10th. Burleson had a 2-run homer in this one, along with Nolan Gorman. So how did they get the run in the 10th there? What was the deciding factor? We need the scoring. We're going to go to the 10th. I was not really able to keep track of this one. So Nolan Gorman with the base hit. Hey, how about a game tonight for Nolan Gorman? Gotta love that. But sorry about that, everyone. I completely goofed. Winning 2 out of 3 against the Reds, losing 2 out of 3 against the Phillies. Apologies for that. But as of right now, the Cardinals are tied for a wild card spot with the Cubs and the Giants. Goldschmidt, Donovan, they have been heating up lately. But other than that, besides tonight, right, you had Burleson, Gorman, homer, a couple of homers here tonight. But they need these other guys to start heating up, man, right? Arenado, sure, he's homered a couple of times, but they need this guy to start hitting a bit more consistently. And, Gorman too, right? Gorman had himself a good game. This is a guy that really needs to start picking it up a little bit. Burleson too. Could these be some games here for these guys to get some momentum going for them? Sonny Gray, he looked great against the Phillies. He struck out 10 in 5 innings, but he took the L. Andre Piante, I'm sorry if I botched that. I hope I didn't botch it. But, first start. It looks like he's going to be in the rotation here on out. He had 6 innings, 0 earned. Gotta love that. But the Cardinals, they keep on playing well. Besides the, series loss here to the Phillies, hey, they found a way to salvage the series here tonight. Got the win in the 10th inning. You gotta love that, right? Helsley picking up his, what was that, his 19th save? Wow, is that really his 19th save? What are the leaderboards right now? Let me see here. What is... Yeah, so so he leads the National League Class A. I'll talk about him in just a little bit. But, yeah, those two guys are just racking up saves, man. Remember, he now leads... Well, no, Class A, I think, got the save here today. But overall, Helsley is number 1 in the National League. You got to love that. But Cardinals are playing some great baseball. And, hey, we were talking about the Cardinals being sellers. I even said it, too. I think I spoke too soon. I was higher on the Cardinals coming into the year than a lot of people. I think I gave up a little too soon on the Cardinals. I think I took too much of that Kool-Aid. But they're right there. 3rd in the wild card. All right, Braves at number 1, Padres at 2. Cardinals at 3, half a game ahead of the Cubs and the Giants. So, hey, Cardinals fans feeling good right now. Feeling good. Moving on. We got number 17. We got the Diamondbacks losing 2 out of 3 to the Rangers. They split with the Mets earlier. I mentioned Ketel Marte. Big game for him today. He led off the game with a homer and had the go-ahead home run, breaking Mets fans' hearts all over the land. Peterson, Walker, they've been hitting well for the most part lately, but Corbin Carroll continues to struggle. He was my pick for the most disappointing player for the Diamondbacks so far this year. I mean, when you look at the year that he had last year, I mean, it's crazy what this guy's doing. It's pretty, I hope he gets out of it here because, I mean, he was one of my favorite players to watch last year. Pitching has been very up and down. They've gotten, some decent stuff lately. Walston, he went into the 5th inning throwing shutout against the Marlins there, but Montgomery, he got hammered against the Mets. 4 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, Montgomery. We'll talk about Blake Snell in just a little bit as well. I hope those two learn their lesson, man. I hope they they never sign that late in spring training ever again. But we got the Rangers at 16, losing their series to winning 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks, winning 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. So, decent week for the Rangers. Corey Seager is red hot in his last 15 games, hitting .375 with an .875 slugging, 9 home runs. If you got Corey Seager in fantasy, man, you're reaping the benefits right now. Nathan Eovaldi came back from the IL. He went 3 innings, 2 earned against the Diamondbacks, so nice to see Nasty Nate back. Lorenzen pitching well. 6 1/3 against the Marlins of shutout ball. Dane Dunning, 6 shutout, 6 Ks and a win against the Diamondbacks. But hey, good week for the Rangers overall. I think you could see an argument for the Rangers being ahead of the Giants, but I'm going to hold here for now. I want to see another good week out of the Rangers. I feel like this is kind of the right spot for them, right in the middle. But with the week that the Giants, or the weekend, sorry, the weekend the Giants had, the reason I have the Giants ahead of the Rangers is because they won 2 out of 3 against the Phillies earlier in the week. Then you get swept by the Yankees. But again, those are 2 of the best teams in baseball. So, I think I'm putting the Giants a little ahead of the Rangers, despite a good week from Texas. The Giants, offense has been cold, 28th in the last 7. They need these bats, man. Jorge Soler, that's one bat that really needs to start picking it up. He's been a pretty bad signing overall so far. But the worst signing has been Blake Snell. My goodness. Another IL stint, his second IL stint of the year. Another issue with the groin. Man, what else is there to say? Dude's got an ERA over 10. He hasn't pitched 5 total innings in any of his starts. It has been a terrible signing. It's terrible. I mean, I liked it when, on paper, I love the move when they did it. I thought it was great, but it has just not worked out. Sure, you can look at it on paper all you want, and the rotation looked pretty solid, but you got to bring the human aspect into it. And, I still remember, Scott Boras was like, oh, yeah, they're throwing bullpens. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, man. Like, it's not game pitching, right? Where you're pitching in a game, you're holding runners, you're running to first, making the play, right? Working on the fundamentals, pitching, fielding, right? You're doing a lot in a game besides just pitching, right? When you're just throwing on a bullpen, that's not really going to help get you ready. I don't know. Sure, yeah, he had the minor league, rehab. He went through had a couple starts there, but I don't know, man. It's been a terrible signing. Logan Webb, he had a good start against the Mets last weekend, but he was not great against the Yankees. Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, against the Phillies and the Yankees. Bullpen, they had an amazing game against the Phillies in the second game of that series. They won with the bullpen game, shutout from the bullpen, won in extra innings. Hey, man, give it up for the Giants in that one. That bullpen's been pretty solid. But, Giants, I'm right in the middle when it comes to the Giants. Number 14, the Cubbies, man. What the heck is going on with the Cubs? The Cubs, they are just free-falling right now. Losing both their series to the Brewers and the Reds this week. The offense has been ice cold. 28th in offense over the last 7 games. Seiya Suzuki. I mean, he had quite the game the other night. Had the drop fly ball that would have ended the inning. Ended up leading to a couple of runs for the Reds. And then he came up a little bit later, hit a grand slam to redeem himself. So, give it up for him there. Hat Bellinger, they've been hitting well lately. But the rest of the offense, it's been very up and down. Starting pitching has been up and down too. Ben Brown had a good start against the Brewers. 7 innings, 10 Ks, no runs allowed. Justin Steele had a rough outing, though. That was also where, you got the drop ball from Suzuki. But, he had just not a great start. It was rainy in that one, so I'm going to cut him some slack there. But the command was really off. He was giving up a lot of base hits. Not a good outing overall. And the bullpen, they took a few losses this week. The Cubs, they're just, I don't know. They're just not playing good ball right now. Not playing good ball. So they drop back. So you might be thinking why they're at number 14. Well, they were higher on this list in the last couple of weeks. So they're dropping back here. Let's give them another week. Let's see. At number 13. We got the Tigers. I just saw the Tigers this weekend, right? Just breaking my heart here today. I thought the Red Sox were going to come back and win it today. But no, that did not happen. That did not happen. But Wenzel Perez had a good game today. 3 for 5, a double RBI. Andy Ibanez had the go-ahead double here. Javier Baez drove in a couple of runs there in the 10th. Javier Baez, he is not gone, ladies and gentlemen. Not gone yet. But the bats were an issue. And they're starting to get it going here. They're 5th in offense in the last 7 games. Matt Vierling has been red hot in his last 7, hitting .438 with a .455 on base, a .906 slugging, 4 homers in those last 7 games. You all know I have been high on Matt Vierling in the last couple of years. I've been waiting for this guy to kind of break out, and here we are. Vierling is doing some things. Green, Kana, Urshela, they've been hitting well. But the story for tonight, Spencer Torkelson getting sent down to the minors. Now, I think, obviously we're going to give Torkelson a chance here, but I think this is the right move. This was the right move. Torkelson has had a very bad year. He was my pick for the most disappointing player for the Tigers so far. Looked like a guy that maybe had it figured out last year. 30 home runs, or 31 home runs. And this year was doing nothing, right? WRC plus, OPS, just meh. Wasn't really hitting for much power. When I'm looking at Torkelson, it looks like a mechanical thing, right? He just looks so stiff to me. I don't know what it is. He looks so fluid when he was in college at Arizona State. Like, everything just looked great. Right? He just looked like so free and easy, just mashing the ball, right? The bat was just tremendous in college. But when I watch him, he just looks stiff. Like, I don't know. I'm not an expert by any means, but I think it's just something, I think it's a timing thing, definitely mixed in with some mechanical stuff. He just doesn't look right. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I just feel like there needs to be just more fluidity to his mechanics. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I hope he gets it figured out in the minor leagues. We'll see. But I do think this is going to be an addition by subtraction, because the Tigers, they need to start hitting, right? And they have been hitting lately, and they need to keep this going. And Torkelson right now is like an automatic out. He's not helping them at all. So they have other guys here that can definitely step up, right? We'll see. We'll see here. They're also getting some good pitching lately, though. Jack Flaherty, Skubal. Flaherty had a no-hitter going against the Red Sox the other night. I'm thinking, what the heck, Jack Flaherty? My goodness. I'll always remember a few years ago on MLB The Show, or it was like 4 years ago or like 5 years ago. I can't remember which one. And I remember I started a season as the Red Sox, and I'm like, I feel like we need a pitcher. And I remember I went to the Cardinals. I'm like, oh, they got Jack Flaherty. I remember I always remember doing that trade. I had Jack Flaherty. He had like an A potential in that one. And I picked him up for the Red Sox in MLB The Show. And he came to Fenway and he just dominated the Red Sox the other night. Skubal, he looked great against the Pirates. 7 shutout, 8 strikeouts. But the Tigers, hey, splitting both of the Pirates and the Red Sox this week. Speaking of my Red Sox, I am going to put them a little ahead of the Tigers, despite the Tigers picking up the win today. But right now, I like the Red Sox a little bit better than the Tigers, right? Tigers' offense has been heating up. The Red Sox offense for all year has been better than the Tigers' offense, while also having great starting pitching. So this could definitely flip-flop next week. We'll see. But the Red Sox, I'm just going to put them slightly ahead of the Tigers right now. They just continue to get great starting pitching. Tanner Houck was great against the Tigers. Cooper Criswell picking up another W. 7-2 the Red Sox are when Cooper Criswell starts a game. Just give Cooper Criswell the Cy Young. I don't know what else to say. Cooper Criswell, Cy Young, has a nice ring to it. I'm just saying. They can't lose when he's pitching. I don't know. Nick Pivetta had a pretty cool moment this weekend, or this past week, sorry. 8 straight Ks. That ties a club record, tying Roger Clemens. Brian Bayo, he did all right today. He was good until the 7th inning. And then he just kind of fell apart. Offense kind of slumping lately. Rafael Devers had a big game-tying home run today. Ended up losing in extra innings. So Dane Rafaela made some adjustments with his swing over the last few weeks. And it's starting to pay off here. He's hitting pretty well lately. Moved his hands a little more down. And instead of having the bat just like flat, he kind of has the bat at like an angle a little bit. And it's making him a little quicker to the ball, right? He kind of closed up his stance a little bit too. So he's starting to look a little bit more compact, and Rafaela, we're starting to see the results come in. Tyler O'Neill dealing with a bit of a knee issue right now. He's not playing at the moment. Vaughn Grissom, kill me. Vaughn Grissom has another injury, a hamstring strain. He went to the IL. We'll talk about Chris Sale. I know he had a bad start against the A's, but whatever. I mean, everyone has a rough start here and there. Gosh, that trade is not looking good. I get it. Vaughn Grissom, he has a lot of years of control. I know, and I'm expecting Grissom to be fine. But it's hard, man. When you see Chris Sale, your former ace, just dominating for the Braves. I know it's a completely different situation. I know there's like less pressure on Sale, but he's turned into one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. It's just tough, man. When you see that, and it's like, and Grissom is having a terrible year. I feel terrible for the guy. He's having so many injuries, but yeah. And then there were some talks about Alex Cora this week. No extension talks, right? They do not plan to have any extension talks until the end of the season. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. I am fully expecting Alex Cora to be the manager for the Dodgers next season. I don't know, unless if they win a World Series this year with Dave Roberts, okay, then that's different, right? But if the Dodgers don't win a World Series this year, I'm fully expecting Alex Cora to be the manager for the Dodgers next year. I'm just saying. I don't know. I just see it. I have a hard time seeing Cora coming back, right, with how up and down this has been, unless he is liking the direction, right, because they are getting some good pitching. But the way the front office was this past year, the way they were at the trade deadline last year, the way it's gone for the last couple of years, Cora, I would think at this point, I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't know. But I would imagine maybe he's looking elsewhere, right? Or at least he's thinking about it. We'll see. But I don't know, man. Got to keep an eye on that. Number 11. We got the Mariners at number 11. Good week. Good week for the Mariners here. Winning 3 out of 4 against the Astros. Sweeping the Angels. They are first in starting pitching in the last 7 games. Bryce Miller has been fantastic in his last 2 starts. George Kirby, 8 Ks over 6 innings against the Astros. Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, solid this week. J-Rod, Ty France starting to heat up a little bit. I liked the idea of Vlad Jr. for the Mariners, but I don't know. Ty France, he's starting to hit well. I don't know. Maybe they're okay without him. We'll see. But J-Rod, he's hitting well, 346 over his last 7 games. Ty France with a 500 slugging over his last 7 games with a 444 on base. But yeah, the Mariners, here we go, right? They need this offense to be more consistent, right? They're always going to have the pitching. They will always have the arms, right? Starting pitching, bullpen, they're going to be solid. They just need these bats to be consistent. They need Garver to start picking it up here. I mean, I don't even know. Is Garver even playing? I don't even know what's going on. Haniger, I did pick Haniger as my most disappointing player for the Mariners so far. I had some comments on that video saying, no way, it's got to be Mitch Garver. I totally understand the argument there. I guess I'm looking at it more from like a dollars and cents point of view, where Haniger's making more money. That's the way I see it, I guess. But I totally understand the argument for Mitch Garver because he was, a bigger offseason signing. He's not making as much money as Mitch Haniger. And I'm also thinking about the fact that they gave up Robbie Ray, which I guess you didn't really need him at the end of the day, right? You have so much pitching there anyway. So, I don't know. I just feel like with Haniger, with the amount of money he's making, and he's not really hitting. Garver, though, I totally understand that argument. But, Polanco has not done anything. Listen, I think we have to start looking at, I believe the Mariners also made a coaching change this past week. I feel like they did something with one of the coordinators or something. I can't remember the exact position, but I feel like they moved on from someone. I'm honestly starting to think here with the Mariners, right? Because anytime they get someone, that's what it was. Bob Smith, thank you. Offensive coordinator, thank you so much. That's what it was. But I believe it's some kind of a philosophical thing for the Mariners, right? There's so many strikeouts. I don't know. And it's like there's so many of them where it's like, is this part of their plan? Like, is this what they're actually trying to do? But I don't know. I just think with the Mariners, they need a different game plan. And, hey, you're starting to see the Mariners heat up a little bit. And after they've dismissed their offensive coordinator, again, Bob, thank you for that in the chat. But, I don't know, the Mariners, before, a couple weeks ago, their offense just racking up Ks and whatever, it's like you're thinking, even if they bring in a bat, is it even going to do anything? But now that maybe they've turned it around, maybe, we'll see. Let's see if they can get more out of Polanco and Garver and Haniger. And who knows? Maybe another bat can come into the fold, like Pete Alonso. I think that would be great. We'll see. We will see. But the Mariners, they're playing great baseball right now. Wasn't quite enough for my top 10. Wasn't quite enough. Before I do get to the top 10, I just want to go over, I think we had a couple more super chats coming in. Ethan, again, thank you for that super chat, and thank you for helping my potato brain. Manjit Singh, $4.99. Who are some trade deadline targets for the Giants? I think the Giants, man, they got a lot of bats, but I feel like they need just a bit more thump in that lineup. My dream candidate for the Giants would be Luis Robert. I don't know if he's going to be healthy in time, or we'll see. He's always I feel like he's coming back at some point in the next month. We will see. But that would be my dream guy for the Giants, like an impact bat that can just change your lineup, right? I feel like the Giants need something like that. We'll see. But I think they need some offense, right? They're going to be getting Robbie Ray back, the bullpen. I mean, look at what the bullpen did this past week. We'll see. But Bradley Peters, $1.99. Cards are 7-3 in their last 10. Cubs are 2-8. How the turntables? My goodness, the Cardinals are playing great. Everyone, before I get to the top 10 here, I do just want to go over tonight's sponsor, and that is Mando. Listen, everyone. Listen. I've been using Mando for the last 3 months, and their deodorant, I don't have that deodorant. I have the Mount Fuji scent, and it is absolutely wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. They have a lot of good products. So in the description below, if you go use my code, you'll see the code there. It's HYDE, HYDE. If you go click that link in the description, you get $5 off a starter pack. So basically what you can do here with a starter pack is you get one stick of deodorant. You can either do bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji. That's what I have. I think it smells great. Pro Spore, or if you don't like scents, they have an unscented one. I'm going to tell you right now, I've also been using the bourbon leather body wash. This stuff's flat out fantastic. If you want to smell amazing, and I'm not just saying that for the ad. I'm not kidding. It smells fantastic. Bourbon leather, I think, is the way to go. But you got some other scents here. Again, same as the deodorants, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport. They got bars of soap too. So you can pick a solid stick of deodorant. Let's say you go Clover Woods. That smells nice. You can go, let's do the bourbon leather body wash. And then you can either, and then you can also do a soft pack of wipes. Those are really nice. I actually keep some of those in my gym bag, in case I got to go to the grocery store or something after. I got to make a stop. I just need to kind of, get myself a little situated with the scent. Those come in handy. And then you get a mini body wash in here as well. So you get a pretty good pack here of stuff. And with my code, you get $5 off. That's not bad. You can get it for yourself, or Father's Day is just around the corner. I think it would be a great Father's Day gift, to be completely honest with you. But it's not just starter packs, right? If you want to just go buy deodorant sticks, wipes, whatever, you can go do that too. But I do recommend the starter pack. I think it's a solid way to start off with Mando. And again, I've been using one stick of deodorant from Mando for the past 3 months, and it has lasted all 3 months. I'm just saying. And I think I smell rather wonderful. That's just me, though. Probably everyone else thinks I smell weird or something. But go check out Mando. Again, link is in the description down below. Use the code HIDE. You get $5 off. It's a pretty good deal. Help support the channel. Let's move on. Here we go. Top 10. Top 10. Here we go. Alrighty. At number 10, we have a new team in the top 10, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I already see someone disagreeing, and we haven't even revealed the team yet. But Chris Sampson, I see you. Padres too high. I disagree. I like San Diego. Man. And they're starting to look pretty good here. Swept Kansas City, winning 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. Luis Ariz, listen, we haven't even gotten to the trade deadline, but I think you could make the argument that Luis Ariz could end up being the best pickup this entire year. He has been that good. He's been amazing. I mean, this guy just keeps racking up the hits. He's hitting over 400 in his last 7 games. Oh, sorry, Don, you're right. Sorry, they did not sweep Kansas City, but they won the series. Apologies for that. Solano hitting over 500. Ariz hitting over 400 in their last 7 games. Tatis, OPS over 1,000. He's hitting great. Kim, Profar, hitting over 300 in their last 7 games. Profar, man, what a year he is having. This guy is incredible. Jerickson Profar, this is a guy the last couple of years wasn't really doing all that much. They brought him back on a cheap deal. And when that happened, we're like, oh, okay, all right, we brought Profar back. Who else are we going to get, right? That's what the Padres and their fans were thinking, right? Okay, we got Profar, but, well, we need another bat. Well, Profar has been just fantastic. So, yes, Ismael Sanchez. Yes, apologies for that. I know that I messed up on my notes. They did not sweep Kansas City. They won their series against Kansas City. That's the last time I'm going to say that. But they've been getting some good pitching, too. Waldron, 7 shutout innings, 8 Ks against the Marlins. Vasquez picking up a win against Kansas City. Cease did pitch well against Kansas City. Musgrove going to the IL, though. Had a decent start against the Yankees his last time out, but has elbow inflammation. And that's the one thing you always got to wonder about with Joe Musgrove is the health, right? But overall, Padres are playing some great baseball lately. I think, when you look at the stats, I mean, if I go pull up here the numbers for the Padres, I mean, they're ranking really well in pretty much everything, right? Taking a look here. When it comes to the offense, they are, why is it not working? They're 6th in offense on the year. When it comes to the pitching, overall, they are 12th in pitching on the year. I think they're a really solid team. And defensively, when it comes to the overall defense, they're middle of the road right now. I mean, they're not bad defensively. They're not great. But I think San Diego, I think right now they're looking like a solid team, right? Let's see if they can keep this up. This coming week, they got a series. I mean, they got the Angels to start off their week. I mean, that's pretty favorable for them right there. And then you got the Diamondbacks at home. And Diamondbacks have been an up and down team this year. So I think you could see the Padres end up having another good week. We'll see. But I have them at number 10. Number 9, we got the Twins. The Twins, here's another, good week where they've been one of these teams that are very up and down. When they are winning games, they look great. When they're losing games, they look terrible, right? But good week for them. I think you could make the argument that, oh, wait, did I mess up here? Oh, I goofed up here. No, this is incorrect. I actually, nope, I knew I messed up in here in my top 10. Hold on a second, everyone. Here we go. Sorry about that. I have the Royals at number 9, and I have the Twins at number 8 because the Twins won their series against the Royals. So let me actually get this fixed here. Got the Twins. Where are the Twins? I can't find it. There's the Twins. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Number 9, Royals, right? And number 8, the Twins. So I'll talk about the Twins since I already started talking about them. The key has been the bullpen for Minnesota. This bullpen has really been stepping up for them. They're getting just enough offense and just enough starting pitching, and the bullpen has just been taking care of business. They've been fantastic lately. Sure, Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, Simeon, pretty decent, right? But it's been pretty up and down in this rotation for the most part. And then you're getting, but from the offense, right, you're getting guys stepping up just enough for this lineup. But again, I just want to emphasize the bullpen, right? 3 saves from Duran this past week. Jax, Alcala, they've been pitching great out of the pen. That's been the key for Minnesota this week. While Kansas City, on the other hand, it's starting to get a little iffy here for Kansas City, losing again to the Twins and losing their series to the Padres. They picked up the win today, but this was something I wondered about with Kansas City coming into the year. Like, I saw a better year out of Kansas City. I just wonder, is there enough to really go for a playoff spot, right? And I know I'm maybe getting a little ahead of myself here, right? The Royals have been playing great baseball, but I wonder with this Royals team, right? Looking great the first couple of months, but let's see what this month looks like for Kansas City here, because they're not getting a lot of offense right now. Bobby Witt, Pasquantino, they've been hitting well, but not a whole lot else in that lineup. I feel like they could use another bat in this lineup. I mean, they're getting great pitching this year, right? I see you in the chat. Golden Spatian, Royals have good pitching. Oh, yeah, they got great pitching. Seth Lugo is looking like Roger freaking Clemens out there. I mean, what the heck is going on with Seth Lugo? This guy is fantastic. He picked up another win this week against the Twins. Reagan's Waka, they did take L's this past week. Waka going on the IL with a non-displaced fracture in his foot. Man, Waka, he just cannot catch a break. We'll see with Kansas City here and the Twins. I think this is going to be an interesting back and forth battle between these two teams. But number 7, I got the Braves. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about with this Braves team. Losing 3 out of 4 to the Nationals. They won their series against Oakland, but Oakland, they've come back down to earth. So does it? I don't know. Here's the thing with Oakland. Sure, they haven't been winning a whole lot of games lately, but they got some good players on that team. I don't know. We'll see if the Braves, if they can take this momentum into this coming week. We'll see. But that National Series, man, they handled Atlanta in that one. I will say, though, the offense has been stepping up a bit after Ronald Acuna Jr. went down. Matt Olson has been hot lately. Keep an eye out for Matt Olson. Looks like he's starting to really get into some here. Ozuna, he's had a good year all year. He keeps on hitting well. Albies, Kelnick, and Harris, they're starting to show some signs of life a bit more. We'll see. But the offense, it looks like they're trying to pick it up here. We'll see. Getting back to Oakland, Chris Sale, unfortunately, I mentioned this earlier, had his worst start of the year. 4 innings, 8 earned against the A's. I mean, I think that's just a blip on the radar. That happened with Chris Sale a couple of times last year, even when he was healthy, where, had like a great start and then he comes back around and he just looks terrible. Max Fried, though, looked great against the Nationals. 8 shutout innings, 8 Ks. So the Braves, a very up and down week. We got to see what happens here with the Braves. And of course, Sound FX, he is here just in time to give his 2 cents. I have to read the Sound FX super chat whenever I talk about the Braves. Here we go. Braves at number 7, 100% agree. Lost series versus the Nationals, but won versus Oakland. Pitching still holding things up while offense continues to frustrate. 6-game road trip. Yep, we got a couple with Boston this week. Got a rematch this week. Then a rematch with the Nationals. Reynaldo Lopez, 1.73 ERA. So yeah, I was going to mention him next, right? Fried with the great start against the Nats. Reynaldo Lopez, he's just been great this year. So I think the Braves are going to be fine. I do wonder if they make a move at some point. I don't know. I think they want to see, if there's anything with JP Martinez. I think you're going to see at some point Forrest Wall. Has Forrest Wall gotten the call yet? Have we seen any sign of life on Forrest Wall? Is there anything? Why can't I find the Braves here? There's the Braves. But what's going on here? So, and then Schwellenbach, he got the call up this week. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, JP Martinez, I don't think has really, he hasn't even played yet. Did he play today? Let me see here. Braves. I mean, let me see. So they won today, 3-1. Oh, actually, let me go to the box. Charlie Morton, I forgot to mention him. He pitched great today. 1 hit allowed over 6. Gotta love that. But, okay, so Martinez had a pinch hit appearance today. So, I don't know. Are they even gonna... Are they gonna... He didn't even get an at-bat. He was just on the bases. He was a pinch runner. Is he even gonna play? Like, what is going on with him? At this point, why didn't you just call up Forrest Wall? He hasn't got 1 at-bat yet. Well, he scored a run, so I guess that helps. Well, I don't know. I wonder if maybe you could see him this week, because he was hitting pretty well in the minor leagues. Forrest Wall, he's been hitting well too. So we'll see. But overall, I think the Braves right now, they're just trying to get themselves right. Just trying to get things figured out here. I still think they're a top 10 team. Doesn't feel like it lately, though. I would think for Braves fans. I don't know. I think times have been tough for the Braves fans lately. At number 6, I got the Brewers. The Brewers are playing some great baseball lately, winning their series against the Cubs and sweeping the White Sox this weekend. Third in offense on the year, Willy Adames has been red hot, a .600 slugging, 2 homers over his last 7 games. Yelich is hitting great. Frelick, Ortiz, Perkins hitting well. Peralta was great against the Cubs, 5 2/3, 11 strikeouts. Gotta love that. Brewers are just playing great, man. They're playing great, and and again, the Brewers are almost kind of starting to feel like that new. What's the right way to say this? The new Rays. Is that the right way to say it? Where if you pick against the Brewers, they're going to make you look silly. The Brewers right now, man, they're just looking good. Looking good here. So let me get to them. So they've won 5 straight at this point. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're 36-23. I mean, everyone was wondering, man, what is going to happen here with, no more Corbin Burns? Are they going to be okay? And they're looking A-okay. Looking good. But moving on to the top 5. We got the Dodgers at number 5. Great week for the Dodgers, sweeping the Mets, winning 2 out of 3 against the Rockies this week. Bit of down times for the Dodgers over the last couple of weeks. They were slumping a little bit there, but it looks like they're back on track. 6 in offense over the last 7. Freddie Freeman, Smith hitting great. Mookie had a good game today. Will Smith had 3 home runs in his last 7 games. Teoscar Hernandez, Jason Hayward, Pajes, hot. Rojas, doing pretty well lately. Betts, had a good game today, But he had been cold as of late with Ohtani. Those two have not been doing much as of late, but they continue to get pretty solid starting pitching. Yamamoto, 6 innings, 7 Ks against the Rockies. Glasnow, 7 innings, 8 Ks against the Mets in a no decision. Bob Nightingale, though, got a bit of a report for the Dodgers from Bob Nightingale. He is reporting here that they are going to be looking for a bottom of the order bat. And that's what I was saying for the Dodgers coming into the year. Feel like they needed some, sure, you got Ohtani, you got Freeman, you got Betts, obviously. And then you got some other pieces in there too, right? Like Muncy and, Smith. You brought in Teoscar, coming into the year, you were wondering what he was going to be like because he had a lot of strikeouts last year. But you knew you were going to get some pop with Teoscar. But, he's been pretty solid for the most part. But I wondered about the Dodgers. I remember saying that. Even go back to my preview, I feel like I said something along the lines of I was wanting to see what the bottom of the order was going to look like. And for the Dodgers, I think that's a great idea. Try and get as much extension out of that lineup as you can. Gavin Lux, he has not been good for them this year. I don't know. Gavin Lux, he was my pick for the most disappointing player for the Dodgers this year. So I think another bat could help out. It's funny just because you think of the Dodgers and they got all these superstars there and you think like, I'm making it sound like the lineup is weak, right? But I think a bat would help, right? And again, maybe if you wanted to explore something for shortstop, right? I know Miguel Rojas, he's been doing pretty well, but if you wanted to look into maybe someone like Bo Bichette, right? We'll see. I don't know. But look out for the Dodgers. Look out for the Dodgers at the trade deadline. Even though they're good, they're still going to be making moves. We'll see. Number 4. Got the Guardians. They move one down from last week. I put them in my top 3 last week, but they lost 2 out of 3 to the Rockies this week. Winning 2 out of 3 against the Nationals, though, salvaged their week. The offense, they've been great. Offenses for the Guardians has been fantastic. J-Ram is red hot over his last 15 games. 339, 400, 814 for the slash line. 7 homers, 20 RBIs in his last 15 games. Gotta love it, man. J-Ram, he's better than Barry Bonds, everyone. He even said it himself. Better than Barry Bonds. I'm just saying, J-Ram, he's pretty good. David Fry, I don't know if Barry Bonds good, but David Fry is having himself some good times lately, hitting .355 with a 1.129 OPS over his last 15. 8 homers, 27 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. Sorry, hitting .355, 1.129 OPS over his last 7. Fry has been red hot. Bybee had a great start against the Nationals. 6 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned, 7 Ks. Ben Lively, he was pretty good against the Nationals too. 5 2/3, 2 earned. Guardians, sure, bit of a clunker to start the week against the Rockies, but the Rockies are just kind of that team this year where they're a thorn in your side. Number 3. I got the Orioles moving up to number 3. They kicked the crap out of my Red Sox again in the beginning of the week, winning 2 out of 3 against them and against Tampa this weekend. They're 5th in offense on the year. Mountcastle, Rushman, Westberg, all hitting great lately, getting some great pitching. Corbin Burns took care of business against my Red Sox. 7 innings, 1 unearned run, 3 hits, 5 Ks. Cole Irvin, he looked good against the Red Sox as well. 5 innings, 4 hits, 6 Ks, no earned. Orioles are just great, man. Gunnar Henderson, we got to talk about him, though. Gunnar Henderson, let me just pull up the numbers over that last stretch he's been having. This guy's been amazing. Gunnar Henderson is having a fantastic year. And pulling up the leaderboards. Here we go. So Gunnar Henderson on the year has a .959 OPS, has 19 home runs, has over his last 15 games, has a .660 slugging with a .449 on base over his last 15 games while hitting .283. Gunnar Henderson is fantastic. Right now, coming into today, 4th in Fangraph WAR, only behind Aaron Judge, Bobby Wick Jr., and Juan Soto. I mean, he's been great. I mean, Aaron Judge, I mean, we'll talk about him in just a little bit. But Gunnar Henderson, man, this guy has been phenomenal. Number two, I got the Phillies. The Phillies, again, they had a bad start to their week, losing 2 out of 3 to the Giants. Did win the series against the Cardinals this weekend. Did drop the game tonight. They were going for the sweep. But fourth in offense on the year, has cooled off a little bit. 22nd in the last 7. Kyle Schwarber, though, this guy's been hitting everything. This guy's hitting the crap out of everything. He hit a freaking moonshot off of Blake Snell not too long ago. They continue to get great starting pitching. Zach Wheeler, Sanchez, both was 6 shutout innings this past week. Nola got a win against the team we all thought he was going to go to in the offseason, the Cardinals. Diego Romo, I'm glad people enjoy, because I love when I see in the chat someone put Blake Smell. Because it's like, I feel like I came up with that nickname. I still haven't seen anyone else use it, but I'm glad people like the Blake Smell nickname. It makes me happy when I see it in the chat. Anyway, the Phillies. What else is there to say? I mean, yeah, bad series against the Giants, right? That bullpen from the Giants just wrecked them in that second game of that series. But I still think the Phillies, they're just looking flat out amazing other than that start to the week. But number 1, we got the Yankees. I don't know, man. This Yankees team, listen. I grew up a Red Sox fan. I've seen the best of the best with the Yankees. Well, okay, no, I take that back. I did not see, Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle. No, I take that back. But I did see the late 90s Yankees, right? I saw that 98 Yankees team. Saw these just powerhouse teams just running through the playoffs with Jeter, Rivera, Posada. I mean, Tino Martinez, because all these guys, Bernie Williams, great teams. I've seen those Yankee teams. I saw it with A-Rod in 2004. That team, I mean, my goodness, that was a scary-looking team coming into that year. This Yankees team is starting to feel like those Yankees teams, where they look scary, where they look, everything is going right for the Yankees, right? We haven't, if you go back the last, few years or so, 2017, that was a fun Yankee team, right? Fun Yankee team. But you always wondered, did they have enough that year? You felt like, okay, they had that chemistry that year to where they could, take that step, right? And yes, they've had good players over the last few years, but they just felt like something was missing. But this Yankees team right now, it feels like everything is clicking, and they're getting Garrett Cole back. I know probably Garrett Cole is going to have some rust. He's going to have to shake off, right? But the fact that they're playing this well, and they got Cole starting a rehab assignment this coming week, along with the years that Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are having. Aaron Judge had a ridiculous May. Over May, he hit .361 with a .479 on base, a .918 slugging, 14 home runs, 27 RBIs. Aaron Judge, that month of May that he had, literally put him into first in the Fangraph WAR leaderboards. Unbelievable. Juan Soto's been having an MVP all year, or MVP season all year. And funny, when I thought of Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, I don't know why. I just thought Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, right? Go back to those guys, the numbers that those guys were putting up. And let's go look at the numbers here. So we got the 1961 Yankees, won the World Series over the Reds that year. Won it in 5 games. That was a team that won 109 games in 1961. Let's take a look here. Mickey Mantle, 54 home runs, had an OPS of 1.135. Roger Maris, a 993 OPS, had the 61 home runs that year. Those two were amazing in 1961. Now, let's take a look. Keep the OPSs in mind, right? Mickey Mantle with a 206 OPS plus. Roger Maris with a 167 OPS plus. Juan Soto with a 181 OPS plus this year. Aaron Judge with a 198 OPS plus. I'm just saying. And you're right, Ian, this isn't even updated yet. This is coming into today. Listen, if these two keep the pace of what they're doing this year, I mean, you could argue this might be the best 1-2 punch in a lineup of all time, right? Even better than Manny and Papi. I hate saying that, but what these two are doing this year, it is bonkers. I'm just saying, man. Are Juan Soto and Aaron Judge the modern day Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris? I'm just saying, right? And then Garrigan Ruth, right? Garrigan Ruth. I'm talking more like recent, right? Of course, Garrigan Ruth, right? But I'm talking more recent, yeah? I'm just saying, man, these two are good. They keep on getting great pitching. Everything's going right with this team right now. Everything's going right. You got to love what the Yankees are doing. I hate what the Yankees are doing. But I'm about to go see this Yankees team at Fenway Park in a couple of weeks. I mean, they're playing phenomenal, right? Record of 42-19. They've won 5 straight, 8-2 in their last 10. That is now the best record in Major League Baseball now that the Phillies lost tonight. So, I'm just saying. But Yankees are playing great baseball. They are, again, my number 1 team. Everyone, that's all I got for power rankings for this week. I do know we had we had one more super chat come in. Nathan, one of our members, $10 super chat. Cleveland needs to trade for a starting pitcher and a shortstop. Sorry, Gabriel Arias is not it. Maybe trade some prospects for Bo Bichette and keep this Guardians train moving. Let's go Guardians. I came up with the Guardians as a trade destination for Bo Bichette. I think that would be a really nice move for them. It would be a nice bat to add, right? And yeah, I see what you're saying, right? Gabriel Arias, remember they got him not too long ago. And, people were thinking, oh, okay, this guy's got a great glove, but I don't know. Seems like the bat just isn't quite there right now. And I think they do need some more starting pitching. I agree with you, right? Logan Allen was my pick for the most disappointing player for the Guardians this year, and he's having a down year after a pretty good year last year. I feel like Tristan McKenzie's been up and down this year. I think the Guardians could use some starting pitching. I wonder here with the Guardians. I mentioned it earlier when we were talking trades, right? Or not trades, sorry. When we were talking draft. I wonder if Cleveland maybe goes under slot and they take Chase Burns, number 1. I wonder if they do that, right? We'll see. We'll see with that. But, I agree with you. I think the Guardians, they could add a couple of pieces. We will see. Everyone, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I greatly appreciate all of you stopping by. Don't forget about our sponsor here. Don't forget about our sponsor. We got Mando. Link is in the description down below. Use the code HYDE. You get $5 off on a starter pack. Seriously, go check it out. It's pretty good. If you want to step up your hygiene game, improve your smell game, go check out Mando. And everyone, if you can on the way out, hit that like button for me. Hit the bell notification. I will be uploading more videos this coming week. Share the show. Subscribe if you're new. Everyone, I'm out of here. Thank you again for watching another episode of Power Rankings. We'll be back next week. Have yourself a great night, everyone. And once again, thank you to everyone that dropped a super chat. And thank you to everyone just for stopping by. It's always appreciated. So, and don't forget, just posted a video tonight. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Everyone, have yourself a great night. Have yourself a great week this coming week. And I'll talk to you next time.